Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sunny Side podcast. Today, I am joined by Mr. Andy Price. Andy is the founder of a company called Initial IT. He's coming up to 2 decades in the space. I'm going to let Andy introduce himself. How are you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, having a good day. So, for the viewers, Andy, just for anyone that doesn't know anything about you, could you explain what you do and what Initial IT do, kind of who you serve, what you do?
Absolutely. Yeah, as you said, Initial IT has been running for 20 years. We essentially make IT simple, secure, and personal for professional services firms. We have like a no jargon, no hassle, just friendly support mission. Our goal is all about trying to get people out of tech overwhelm and just get them doing what they're good at without having the hassle of tech and cyber and all this stuff, and now AI in the mix as well. So yeah, that's what we're about.
Good overview that is. Okay then, so what could you class the initial moment that made you think, okay, I think I'm going to do this myself? Was there something like a gap in the market you saw, or did you just think I can do this better than the majority of MSPs out there?
Yeah, well, if you take me back to when I started the business back in 2006, I worked for a few IT companies. I'd seen how they operated, and I just didn't buy it. It's quite simple as that. I always thought this is too expensive. This is too complicated. You're trying to talk to your end client like they're a technical engineer, and it just never. It never landed with me properly, and the result of that was our clients, my previous company's clients, were confused, frustrated, didn't understand what they'd bought, what they were getting, what service they were expecting, because it was all SLAs and contracts and crazy wording, and it was almost like the business model was always like, if you can confuse the client enough, then they won't know what we're not doing, right?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't sit right with me, Our clients, they pay for clarity, right? So whether that's, they just want to do their job and like have all those problems taken away from you, that's what they're paying for, right? We have accountants, we have lawyers, we have all sorts of doctors, high-end professionals that work under us in our partnership, and they can't be spending 2 hours googling something because the IT guy hasn't got back to them. They've got high risk, high stress jobs anyway, and tech can sometimes just be another stress they don't need, and that's before they switch on the media and are seeing everyone and their brother getting hacked at the moment, and it's a dark world out there right now. So that's what we do. We just provide clarity. We'll take care of the problems. We'll take care of your cyber. We'll back up your data. You just do your job.
Nice.
Run your business.
I think that's really important because a lot of people do just get a bit confused and it's sometimes a bit overwhelming, isn't it? Okay, so let's talk about that then. So you've basically got just one fixed price package, is that correct?
So there's 3 price points, but essentially we'll speak to a customer and know. We don't really give you a shopping list of solutions. I'll speak to you and I'll go, you need to be on, foundation package. You need to be on our Elevate package. You need to be on our 45 package, because there's no point me selling you just what you perceive as you need, because there's gaps, right? So, but most of our clients don't understand what they need. I was speaking to a lady this morning and she's like, I only need this. I'm like, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Oh no. Have you thought about Cyber Essentials? Oh no. And we sort of asked further questions in our conversation, and she's like, I don't do anything. Like, and then she's got a cyber insurance policy, but doesn't know what her responsibility is for that cyber insurance policy. So there's so much stuff that in tech that people just don't know. Actually, our packages are designed to fit their needs. So although we have 3, if you came to me and said, I'm running an accountancy, Andy, I need some help, this is what we do, this is how big we are, I'd be like, that's the solution. It's X amount per month per employee. And that's as
Interesting.
complicated as our pricing gets.
Yeah, so I was about to say, so you don't really do any custom proposals then. It's literally just you will consult them on what package needs to. I bet that shortens down your sales cycles a little bit, doesn't it? Because you're not having to
Massively.
go around doing custom proposals, and I'm sure it just makes it a lot simpler. Do you think that kind of offer stands out in the marketplace compared to some of your competitors, or do a lot of companies have something similar?
Um, I think it does. I mean, our prices are on our website, initialit.co.uk, if you want to go have a look.
Yeah, cool.
There's nothing to hide. I think what sets us apart is I think a lot of people have an intention to have packaged pricing and all the rest of it, but the second something doesn't fit, they will quite happily change it to fit that one client. And then, which is great when you start up because you know you need clients, you need money, you need to go. But after a time, you just end up with a whole mess of clients that have bought a whole mess of different products, and you can't service them properly. Which is why I know really better than our clients
Yeah.
what they need in terms of security, data protection, because I'm monitoring them all the time. I'm looking at them and I'm seeing where the gaps are. They don't know. It's like when you go to a lawyer, you don't know where you stand from a legal point of view. You need their in-depth advice, and I think the difference between us and a lot of other IT companies is I won't budge because I know, okay, let me drop it by a fiver to help your budget. Well, what am I going to remove? Should I remove the backup?
Yeah.
Should I remove our 24/7 SOC that monitors you every single day and night? Should I, which bit do you want me to remove? And the answer is I'm not removing anything because I know you need them. And when you have that real knowing of value in your head, I know our packages like deliver and our clients get massive amount of value out of them, then I'm not chopping and changing them. So I'll live and die by those products.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way to do things, and it just simplifies everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You don't. It's literally just so your prices are on your website. They come in, they can just say, okay, that. So how does it normally work? So if somebody comes in, do they just give you a call, or do they email you and just say like, what one should I be on, or do they say, can I have this package, or do they ask you first?
Some of them have done their research. Will go, I want the cheapest one usually.
Yeah.
But however they find us, they find us off the website, they find us off LinkedIn, they find us, if we're running any offers at the moment, they'll come in a whole number of different ways. But it's always the same, right? It's always, we come back to a discovery call, a consultation and that's not a sales call, right? That's
Yeah.
understanding, building a relationship with them, understanding where their pain is, where their problem is, and if we can help. Like, we can't help everybody, and we're quite open. If we can't help you, I probably know someone that can, and I'll point you in the right direction. But I'm not taking clients on just for monetary value. We're taking them on if we can truly deliver value. And again, we live and die by that.
Absolutely, and I feel like having them intentions creates massive trust as well with obviously your clients. So
You don't have trust, especially in this game, in IT and security. If you don't have trust, what have you got?
have you got?
What
Yeah.
have you got, right?
Yeah.
They have to trust us, I said to a client last week, you just don't need to worry, right? If someone tries to hack your Microsoft account at 3 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day, it's covered, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. We'll pick it up and we'll block it. You can just open your presents and treat.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay, that's interesting. That trust thing, I suppose, in any kind of realm of business, I think trust is massive, but particularly in the IT. So the majority of your clients are smaller businesses, aren't they? And I know that you're not afraid to turn down the one-man bands and the smaller businesses because I know that a lot of MSPs wouldn't really even have a sniff around them. So what's the kind of thought process behind that?
There's two things really. I mean, again, it comes down to what I've just said. Like, can we add value? right? So not every one-man band is a fit, but if they have requirements, because it's not purely about a monetary. Obviously, in business we all have to make a profit, right? And let's not hide that. But can we offer value to these people? And if we can, and then we'll have a conversation. The big thing is small companies grow, right? So, and very often I find that once you deliver a level of service like we do, they struggle to find it anywhere else. So they become your best clients, your best partners, because you've built them. You haven't ripped them off from day one. A lot of people just see new business. Let's go and raid what little cash they've got. But we nurture them and we help them. We give them advice about how they grow, at what point they are in their business. So I'll take a new solo entrepreneur or business owner on every day. Not a problem.
Yeah, that's really handy. And obviously you do grow with them. So obviously at the start, it's I wouldn't even say it's not ideal because it's still business and you're still helping them. But obviously in the few years they'll get more users and then everyone starts to be a bit more of a winner. So the majority of your clients are all in the professional or not all of them, but professional services is kind of your main sector, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think is the main IT kind of problem that they face before bringing in somebody like you?
There's a few. I think what they should be worried about is like that data protection. So who can see my data? Where is my data? Have I got laptops running around with unencrypted disks and things like that? Those sorts of things. But people don't see that, right? They don't even know it exists. It doesn't even come into their head. I think in fact, the whole sort of cyber world, I don't think touches small businesses. We see it every day in the media, but the vast amount of people I speak to that run a small company are like, it doesn't really bother me. It's like, so many other things. Cash flow bothers me.
Yeah.
Maybe getting hacked in 6 months is not on my radar. But so where they value it, where they find the value is having been able to act like a larger company and just ring someone and go, what should I do about this? I've got this, should I do this new tech marketing thing, or can someone help me fix this mundane printing issue, or whatever the problem is, I need to buy a new system to do X, can I get some advice? They can now act like a larger company and they can get enterprise level knowledge about IT and security for a small business price and get, like I said, get real value out of it.
Which is really handy. So do you think that before you actually bring them on, do you have to give them a bit of education? Because obviously a lot of small businesses see like IT as more of a cost than an investment. So how do you kind of get around that? Because obviously, like you said, they're worried about cash flow, not about how safe they are. So how do you get around that?
I think it's why you have to focus on the tangible sort of elements and the value that you can deliver around it. So rather than beating the drum about cybersecurity, let's talk about, you ask a few open questions about how do I word this? How often do you get stuck by an IT problem? Like you just can't do that job because of a thing. That classic 3-minute task that turns into a 3-hour ordeal.
Yeah.
Because of lack of technical knowledge, for a better word. And so when you can say, well, if I could take that away, if I could take one of those away a month, that you've earned more profit, that you've earned more revenue than my invoice, right? So than my service. So, and we can take those away every day. In fact, we can stop most of them happening ever in the first place by our proactive management. So when we start talking about those tangible benefits, to a small business, those are much more realistic and those are much more sort of tangible for them because the maybe getting hacked in 6 months' time, opposed to you can help me not lose 3 hours work tomorrow, you know, is
Yeah.
is really valuable.
Absolutely, and I think it's so important to be outcome focused as well when you
Yeah,
think about that, actually tie everything back to the outcome. Yeah, no, that's a very interesting point, Andy. To be fair, and I think you're bang on there.
I
I
spoke
would like.
to go on,
Go
go
on.
on. Yes, I spoke to one of our larger clients, a legal firm over in Birmingham,
Yeah,
and they rang me a few weeks back and were like, "I've just had, they just spent, 2 days working on a document, and a lawyer spending 2 days in a document. You imagine how expensive that document is,
yeah,
and he says it's just gone, it's vanished, it's disappeared. Obviously, he hasn't hit the save button because they don't think like you and I. So they've just been like working on this document, and they were almost in tears because like of the effort that's gone into this. Multiple people have been putting in, and we found it for them within about 25 minutes. It was just
really.
just stored in a temp file somewhere. But they were really thinking about redoing that document. And at 5-6 grand a day for a lawyer, it's a massive cost.
Absolutely.
Lost revenue and lost time. And just by making a quick phone call, having someone that understands your business, understands, the importance of a lost document, we save them a lot of stress, a lot of pain, and a lot of money.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a really interesting point to be fair. Because obviously, if you tie it actually back to a monetary, tangible thing, like you say, then it's a no-brainer. Like, why would they would obviously do that?
Yeah.
If it was actually like you invest this and save this amount, then you'd do it, wouldn't you? And it's
Yeah.
just about educating them on that point. Okay, then that's really interesting. To be fair, Andy, I would like to know a little bit more about you guys on how you're getting your clients. And I'd like to talk a bit about the business development side of things, if that's okay. So, what do you think has been the most effective way for you guys at the moment? On generating a business.
So there's lots and lots, and I'm sure you know, Finn. There's lots of new ways to generate business in the world.
There
I
is.
found an invention that beats all of them, and it's really, really complex. It's called a mobile phone.
Yeah.
And I just ring people and have conversations, and I go and speak to people at networking events, and have conversations, and I build relationships, and that sets us apart from, I'd say, 90% of other business owners, let alone other IT providers, who just do not want to get out of their office and who do not want to make conversation. And they'd much rather sit behind email, they sit behind Facebook or LinkedIn and send out yet another post. And look, there's always room for how do you first capture those people, right? How do you first find
Get your foot in the door with them.
new people? How do you get new people into your world? And you can't cold call everyone. I mean, I'm not a cold call fan, but
Nobody likes doing
no
cold.
one likes it, right?
Really don't.
But I'm a
They are
relationship
effective.
building fan, and that's how I do it. I don't talk to people to sell. I talk to people to build a relationship, exactly like I'm doing to you now.
Yeah.
It's not about a commercial enterprise. It's about building a relationship. And people that know, like, and trust you are more likely to work with you than people that don't. But I mean, yes, I post on LinkedIn every day. Yes, I send out emails every day. In sort of newsletters every week, and I have a funnel that I use, and I do sort of bit of Google ads and I do a bit of Facebook ads, and I've got lots of different ways of. But I believe they're just helping me build an audience.
Interesting.
And then you've got to nurture that audience. You've got to talk to people. You've got to find your people that want to work with you, because not everybody does, and that's okay, right? I don't need everyone to work with me. I wouldn't manage, but I need to find the right people that will work with me.
Nice. I think that's really so. You pretty much, by the sounds of it, you pretty much do a lot of the marketing stuff. What do you think is the most effective in terms of people into your world, as you would describe it?
Building relationships, simple as that. However you do it, wherever you do it, building a relationship, and you can you can build a relationship from a stage if you want to, right? We don't have to be meeting people in Starbucks for a coffee every day. It could take quite a long time, but I think you've got to be genuine. You've got to be real. You've got to have a bit of personality, and people have to like you. And
They've got to buy into you as a person.
buy into you, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think you just have to build relationships with people and help them. Just generally add value to them, you know. And if you can genuinely add value, then
Then they're going to work with you, aren't
people
they?
know, people like you, people know you, people trust you, and we get to do some work together.
And it's funny how that when you actually do come into like a sales like a sales call with them intentions, like you can feel it, can't you? You can actually know, like, okay, this guy genuinely wants to help me, and it actually does go a long way. So that's really interesting that you
The
say
amount of
that.
times I've been on a sales call and I've gone, "We're not right for you right now. You know, you don't need us right now. You know, you need to do this instead. Come back to us. You know, always open to have a conversation with people, but I'm also not scared to say, you know, you don't need to spend what our services are right now. You know, it's not going to help you grow, and sometimes it's got to be about the bottom line. It's got to be about cash flow, and you know, if you don't know whether you're going to pay your invoices next week, then IT and cyber are probably not the priorities for you. You know,
And that builds massive trust, saying that's a
it
prospect.
does, and I'm not taking someone's last £100 out of the bank, you know, but you know that's just not how I work. It's just not how I work. So yeah, we'll very often say that, you know, not right now. Yeah, we you know, I know other people that I can put you in touch with. You know, we can, you know, we'll give you a little bit of ad hoc help maybe now and again, but you know, in terms of a managed service, it's just not right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's almost guaranteed that if you say someone right now, we're not actually right for you, when they are actually in the place to gather to you, it's almost guaranteed they're coming to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've already built that trust with them, and you
Yeah.
know they know that you're
Because it's
actually
not about money.
right. Yeah. Which is really, really important. Okay, then. So I'd like to touch a bit. I know last time we spoke, you mentioned that you sometimes do some webinar type of things. Would you mind explaining a little bit about that and how that works and the type of yield that you've seen off that?
Yeah. So again, it comes down to relationships, doesn't it? So, where you know, and I've run a few webinars around cyber because it's a constantly changing world. People are, you know, I think just the media just scares people to death about it, and it's good to kind of give them accurate information. You know, you know, for businesses that are trading well and doing, you know, are surviving and have a team of people, I think it is something they got to pay attention to. But they need to know the facts, and they need to know what to do, because you can always go and buy a new product, right? You can always go and buy a new service. You can always get ripped off if you're not really careful. But actually, having the right advice is really important. And you know, and whatever webinar, call, email, whatever I say the same things. Go and look at Cyber Essentials. It's a government framework. That's your starting point. That's where you need to be. And if you need help to be there, then let's have a conversation. We can help you get there. But that's not then me saying this is my opinion about security. That is the government saying, you know, firstly, if you want to trade with a government department, this is the level you need to be at, and these are the reasons why. And so my webinars have been based. You know, this is the problem in the industry. These are the things that are happening. This is what ransomware is. This is what phishing is. These are all just a bit of information about the cyber world, and this is what you should be doing to defend yourself against it. So, go and look at Cyber Essentials. Get, you know, if you can do it yourself, great. If you want some help, great. Yeah, but my goal for my webinar is about giving people value. It's about, you know, I'd hate a company to come back and we're like, we watched your webinar, we did what we said, we still got hacked. You know, it's like, I want you to follow the good advice, and the good advice is align yourself to a framework like Cyber Essentials. And then there's always stuff we can do after that. There's always more security to put in, and depending on your risk for security, your appetite for risk. But you know, that's where people should start.
That's interesting. And where are you hosting these webinars? Is it like YouTube, LinkedIn, or something?
So I typically host them on Zoom. So it's like an invite only.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
I run a landing page to get people to sign up to them. They're free to join, and then I'll post them on YouTube afterwards, so they're free for people to go and watch.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, I would like to touch on your sales cycle length, Andy, because I know we briefly said about this earlier. Because obviously, you've got the fixed packages. I know that like a standard MSP cycle can be anywhere from like 2 to 4 months. I mean, where would you say that you're kind of around? Does that really shorten down your sales process, or does it sometimes still take long to get a deal over the line?
I think it can take. We're not a fast market, although tech moves so
Right.
quickly. A sales cycle is typically slow, right? Because
Yeah.
one of my coaches always says people will only buy when they're ready to buy. It's an obvious statement, but that's true. And so there's no point going in like hard selling, because they need to be informed. They need to know what they're doing. They need to know what they don't know, and they need to be ready. So yes, it can take that long because they need to feel like they're ready. But that's only really net new clients. Once you've got clients on board and they use your service and they trust you, and then they want some more work doing. I don't know, help me secure SharePoint or as an example, help me roll out Intune, or then the sales cycle is very quick because they trust you.
The trust is there. Yeah.
So I think the thing that most MSPs struggle with is finding net new clients, and there's a lot of business to be done with their existing clients.
Yeah, in terms of upsells
And they
stuff
trust
like
you,
that.
right? And I think as long as you go in, not from, oh my God, I need $5,000 this month, to, let's have a conversation and see if we can help anyone. I think that's the key for me. That's what I always do. That's what I've always done. How can I help someone? Because then it's not about commercial relationship, is it? It's like, wow, they've done 2 days of work. We've got loads of value out of it. Our business is in a better place. Everyone's happy.
Everyone's laughing.
Rather than being left with that little bit of a bitter taste in your mouth, like I've spent $2,000 and I'm not sure where it's gone or what it's done.
Yeah. So do you have like a lot of touch points with your client? Are you regularly checking in with them and just letting them know that you're there, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the great thing is about the MSP industry is clients are so loyal, right? So I even speak to clients that are with bad MSPs, and they still don't leave them. But I think because they're so loyal, and because it's a very slow industry for people to change, that can make you slightly, I don't want to say the word lazy, but so maybe not focused on your current clients as much, because you have to work to keep them. As long as the IT work's been done, and the desk and the consultants and your people are doing their job, actually just stay.
It's like one of them. If you don't actually do anything that's terrible and fail, like they're probably not going to leave, are they?
Yeah, because they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
But actually, just spending a few hours just ringing them and having a conversation about how they are, and deals come out of that all the time. I had one this morning. It's not me hunting for work. It's me ringing up, generally finding out how they are, what they're doing. If there's any improvements we can make to our service, and then it's like, oh, glad you called, because I've got. Can we help me with this? I'm like, of course we can.
Very handy, isn't it? Very handy. So obviously, is the lion's share of your new business, are you the first MSP, or are you normally taking them off somebody else?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. I think that because I'm quite a big fan of small business. I like to help the 5, 6, 7 seaters. The people that are smaller. I've just always have had a bit of a like for them. So very often, they are the first MSP. And I know there's like a rule not a rule, but like a mantra in the MSP world that's like, you should never be someone's first MSP client, because they don't know what they don't know, and they don't know what good looks like or what bad looks like. But I don't really believe that. I think that if you can always provide more value than the commercial aspect, they'll
Then
stay,
you, and
they'll stay and they'll value you, and that's what business is about for me.
100%. Yeah, I think that is literally bang on. That is literally what business is about, isn't it? Provide
Yeah,
more value than what it costs them, and then they're never going
absolutely.
to
Yeah,
leave
I
you.
mean, but I think the problem is when you sell on price, you you keep dropping your prices and dropping your prices, and you can't do that. You can't sell on value. You have to sell on cost.
Yeah,
We've had two clients leave us this year, both of, Andy, I can get your service for 50% of what we pay, and I'm like, no, you can't. You can get an IT service for 50%. It's not what we do because I can't provide it for 50%. So
yeah,
so some people will always leave on cost, but are they your right client anyway?
yeah.
Probably not.
What's meant to be will be, isn't it? That's what you got to think.
If you don't see the value, then you don't see the value. Then the only way I can keep you is by dropping my prices. Then we're not the right fit, and I've got no problem in you leaving because we're not the right fit. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes it's just about being a bit more, fixed on your mission and fixed on what you're trying to do, and it takes a lot of the pain away, a lot of the guesswork.
Yeah, it's because it's easy. It's easy to get a bit. I don't want to use the word greedy, but it's easy to think, okay, well, that's going to be a little bit less on the top line, and then start to think, okay, should we drop our price? But it's important, like you said, to actually keep on your mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting point. So I want to ask you, do you guys use any AI internally to kind of streamline things or just help you out in your day-to-day operations? And if so, would you mind explaining kind of what you're using?
Yeah, so I use quite a bit of AI. So obviously I use ChatGPT quite a lot. So spent a long time training ChatGPT to sound like me. So it helps me just get output done quicker, write emails quicker, write blog posts quicker, all that stuff. So I use kind of ChatGPT as my memory almost, my AI memory. And then I will feed the other AI systems from ChatGPT. So, and it's as simple as ask it to write a prompt for another AI agent. So write me a prompt about who I am and what I do and how Initial IT is, and it gives me like loads and loads of text that I can then just drop into a different tool. I'm trying a tool called Sintra at the moment, which is like AI. About 10 different AI agents. There's like a copywriter, an SEO, and a social media manager, and so you got all these different AI personas, and then you just talk to it, and then it spits out work to which one of the agents is strongest in the area, and that's good. I mean, it's a bit more specific than ChatGPT. So I think the problem with ChatGPT is because it's trying to do everything. It's a generalist.
Yeah.
It's a generalist expert, but
Yeah.
you have to almost really know how to ask the question, how to prompt it to get the information out. Where when you use something that someone's built for you, they've done all that hard work. They've done all the sort of the prompt engineering and the behaviour. So you just get a faster output. Yes, you could build it yourself. Yes, you could. You could have lots. I've got 2 or 3 different custom GPTs in ChatGPT that I've built, and you could do 10 yourself. So you have an SEO one and a copywriter, but it's about getting faster output, right? So pay someone to do it.
100%. And I think with any AI, the output is only as good as the input. So
Yeah.
if you've just got to be so specific and so specific with it, and then the output will always be good. So yeah, definitely.
There's an age-old saying in IT that's been around since before I was born that says, and apologies, but shit in, shit out. And,
Yeah.
and it's true, and it's never been truer. Like, because we have so much data these days that I think some people just feel that if they just push every bit of data in, AI will, or the latest tool, not even AI, will magically figure out the value and the gold. It doesn't.
And it's not correct at all.
It's all got to be human-led.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting point. Is there any particular task that you guys are maybe looking to automate. I feel like every business is either doing a low leverage task or paying someone to do a task that's just a bit like, why haven't we automated this yet? Have
Well,
you got anything that springs to mind with that?
well, we were looking for like a junior tech, so we wanted to bring someone on to do the first line work, and instead we got AI to do it. So AI now is inbuilt into our service desk tool. We use a product called Halo, and it will receive email the tickets that come in, review that ticket, ask further questions to the person that's created it, recategorize them. So if you don't have a triage function on your service desk, you end up with, everything's critical, everything's an incident, everything's logged to, Andy usually, where the AI is then figuring out, actually, is this critical, is it low, is it a service request, is it, the other thing in IT help desk that no one ever fills in is the issue and sub-issue types. Well, it'll go and fill that in, it'll figure out, this is a Windows laptop issue, and so you start, again, agentive AI, being used for a very specific task, is better than humans. It's doing that one specific thing. It is better than I could do it.
Yeah,
And it never stops.
I dread to think where we'll be in the next 5-10 years because it would literally replace everything, won't it? It would be,
I mean, I'd have had to spend 25 grand a year on a junior tech to do that job, and I spend a few £100 a month. Again, I bought it in. I didn't build it myself. Could have done.
no-brainer, isn't it? It's literally. It's literally a no-brainer, and it will do a better job than the 25 grand junior tech. So it's just literally a no-brainer. So it's really interesting to think where everything will be like that in the next 3 to 5 years. 'Cause it's only going to get better and easier and probably cheaper.
I think it's an interesting question, right? Because for those particular jobs, it's great, but I think the big problem comes when people try and automate the wrong jobs. Social media posting is a pain in the neck, right? And coming up with content is a nightmare. But if you're not human, and if you're not writing as a person, and you get an AI just to write it and not even review it or edit it, like, now you're just a machine talking to a machine. There's no,
That's what a lot of people do on LinkedIn, though, don't they?
You see it. Like, you just think it doesn't even make any sense sometimes. Where you've got to have, I'm not saying don't get AI to write social media posts. I'm not saying that, but there's got to be a level of human intelligence.
Human intervention, human overview is what I like to
Well,
say.
AI, we bang about AI being amazing, artificial intelligence, but human intelligence is also pretty good, and it has to be that gate of, no, that's rubbish. Let's retweak, let's write again, and let's actually write this stuff, because it doesn't understand context, and it's just a tool at the end of the day.
And I feel like that's the problem, as in right now, that is the issue. It doesn't understand context, but in the next few years, I feel like that will develop, and it will be a lot more, what's the word? It will run on autopilot a lot more, and you can rely on it, because like you said, you do need to intervene with it.
It is, but I think you should, no matter what we do with technology, at the end of the day, we are humans communicating with humans, whether it's commercial, whether it's a business relationship, a personal relationship, and everything in between. We are humans communicating with humans, and if we lose that, that's a pretty sad world, right?
Yeah, 100%.
If you just sit at home watching TV, chatting to AI about, I don't know, go and get me some food, go and order this, go and do that, and you never leave the house or interact with people or win work, it just pings on your phone, I don't really think I want to be part of it.
Yeah, I agree, completely agree. So there'll be a big shift.
This is what I know, right? Like talking to people, understanding about how, where people come from, their stories and their background is I think that's what gets us out of bed at the morning.
100%. 100%, and it's just going to change the whole dynamic of how things are done. I think like it'll just be a bit different when, like you said, as AI does improve, it will just make it all like less, it'll be a lot more transactional is kind of the word. Do you know what I mean? Instead of actually building genuine trust, it will just be a
It's
lot
got to
more.
find its place, hasn't it?
Yeah,
It's got, but I think I've noticed a slight regress in AI produced content because you use a lot of AI for SEO unless you're using expensive tooling. If you're using ChatGPT for SEO, like Google can spell that a mile away, so it's not having the desired effect. So you've got to go and do the hard work. That's what it's about. It's about doing the hard work, and so we are seeing. I think we're getting that regression. It happens every time, right? So, new tech enters the world. Internet, 92, something like that, enters the world, and everyone starts going crazy for it. And this is going to be amazing, and then it hits this point, and then backs off again because all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's just the internet, and then and this happens in tech all the time. And I think we're at the tip of that drop off.
really.
We just see it's not going away. It's just
Not a wow factor
it's
anymore.
there. So it drops off. Adoption rate falls a little bit, and then it goes again. And then version 2 is now it has practical capabilities. It's not just something you slap on your product to try and sell.
Yeah.
And I think we're in that regression period, and it's going to go again and go big. The internet did the same thing. Computers did the same thing. Everyone gets super excited. Then it drops off, and we have to think practically about how we use this in the world, and then it actually has real power, and then it's off.
I completely agree. I think that's a very valid point. Oh, it's an interesting perspective that is. So you think we're in it's kind of going back down as we're at the tip right now.
I mean, right, you might be too young to remember this, right? But when I was a kid, it was like computers. It's going to change the world. All we talked about, everyone, all the time. And then they came out and people started using them, and then we had the regression, and now they're just a part of the world. Like
No, they're just
computer,
everyone's got one.
computer in my mind. Everywhere you look in the light, everywhere you look, it's got a computer. Do we talk about them? Never. They're just part of everyday life, and that's how AI is going to get.
Yeah.
AI will be in your car. It'll be detecting people jumping out in front of you and all that stuff. It'll be there, so talk about it, because it'll be embedded in the world. Where now we're still in that oh my god, it's amazing, it's going to change the world. It will, but we also will just be using it.
Very, very interesting. Completely true. To be fair, obviously, it's just going to get to the point where it's
That's
a bit.
my opinion.
No, I think that's very valuable because it's just going to get to the point where it's just like, oh yeah, it's like part of the world. Like not really like wowing anybody anymore. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's new stuff that wows us, right? That's what we really get interested in. So there'll be, God knows what it is, but AI version 2, or who knows what it'll be.
The future is definitely bright, isn't it? I mean, where do you kind of see Initial IT in the next 3 to 5 years? Have you got anything that you want to accomplish or any goals that you want to achieve?
I've got my own sort of revenue type goals. I've got I want to grow the business. I think we can help more people, and I think I'm trying to build a nice culture in the team, and so I've got those sorts of goals. In terms of the tech world, we're going to have to be doing more AI work. There's goes without a doubt. But again, I think a lot of it's dressed up as AI, but actually it's business automation, which has been there for 20 years.
Yeah.
System A needs to talk to System B. We'll use AI to do that, but it's an API. It's just automation. So I think we'll start to do a lot of that as people find that the cost of hiring people gets more and more expensive. There will be more automated things happening, and I think in a lot of ways we should be automating more, because if System A can talk to System B, the marketing system can pass leads to the sales system. Well, it can do that faster, quicker, and better than a human can, because it doesn't spell their email address wrong, or it doesn't call them Dave and it should have been John. It's a lot better. Like, you know, human error is a big thing, right? So I think we'll see a lot of that progressing a lot, you know, and where people will be used for the intelligent jobs. Look at Amazon. Look what they're doing now. I mean, they're taking it to the next level, but with their like warehouses and stuff. They're getting robots to replace human error, you know, and the people are just are doing the jobs that they're valued in, and I think that's where we're going.
Very interesting. Well, Andy, just for the viewers that do want to get in contact with you and learn a bit more about yourself and Initial IT, is there anywhere in particular that they can find you, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is initialit.co.uk. I'm just going to grab my LinkedIn. Maybe 1 second. So my LinkedIn is Andy Ian Price. So if you search for Andy Price, you'll see me associated with Initial IT. But I can send you the link if you want to add it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll put it in the description, so that's no dramas at all. But Andy, it's been a pleasure. Really insightful conversation, to be fair. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate the invite. It's very kind of you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Take care, buddy.